In this video, I'm here in one of the most remote wilderness coastlines of Victoria, Australia. I'm out here for 4 days trying to survive. I've got no food with me, I've got no water, I've got no shelter, and I'm sopping wet because I'm doing this as a shipwreck survivor from 100 years ago. Because I've got to find my own food, I've got to find shelter, I've got to find water, I've got to get dry. Watch this video, guys, it's going to be a good one.
Due to early British settlement in our country being focused around the rugged coastline, Australian history is full of survival stories where European men and women would find themselves stranded on what would have been a very strange shoreline. This was often a result of runaway convicts trying to find freedom out in the bush, or shipwreck survivors washed ashore due to the harsh and wild oceans that surround the east coast of Australia. These old-timers would have to survive by foraging what they could from the land and the sea on a lonely and foreign landscape, or sometimes falling into local Indigenous groups who would often show mercy to them and show them where to find water and food. I want to get a small taste of what it might have been like for one of those shipwreck survivors, stranded on a wild and secluded coastline, going hungry and having to find the basic necessities to survive. Stay tuned as I dwell deeper into these stories of survival on one of Victoria, Australia's most remote coastlines.
And g'day everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is a pretty ambitious adventure. Hopefully 4 days I'll be staying out here doing a survival challenge. No food, no shelter, no water, all that kind of stuff. To get to the secluded beach I wanted to get to, there's quite a big inlet crossing that you would have had to swim, so I thought to get there I'd just kayak out to where I want to go. So I want to say thank you to Tim for letting me borrow his kayak. And this is makes it easier for me to just get to this secluded beach across the inlet. I reckon there'd be good fishing on this trip. Up on this beach here. Wow. Let's pull this up. Now I just find a nice spot to hide the kayak. Should be okay there. Now I'm off into this track which will take me to this secluded beach. I'm looking at staying for the next 4 days, or the area, because there is a bit of a, on the Google Earth I've seen it looks like a creek, so I could source fresh water from there. That's wild. Swell is up, so fishing's going to be hard on this trip, that's for sure. Inhospitable looking place. Alright, first things first though, and this is the part that's going to feel a little bit silly, but because I'm doing this as a shipwreck sailor, I need to get everything wet. So I'm going to go for a dip in the ocean and come back in, and my first point of survival will be to get everything dry for the night ahead. Okay, so obviously I'm removing all my electronics, my PLB, my emergency medical kit, so it's silly to get that stuff wet. That's the stuff I need to film this trip, so I won't be getting that wet. Everything else though I have with me, it's time to get it wet. Alright, here we go, in the water, everything goes in the water. Oh, alright. Alright, I've just come in from a shipwreck to this abandoned beach. I've got a few hours of daylight left. Now I've got to find a way to get dry. Alrighty. Well, what's first? First is find where I'm going to sleep tonight, set up a little bit of a shelter, get firewood for a fire, and I've got to get fresh water as well. And I've got to get all of this stuff dry, so that's what I'm going to do first. So this estuary here, I've just tasted it and it's brackish, this creek, so I'm going to have to find a way to walk up further up to where it'd be fresh water. Otherwise, on my walk in here, about 300 meters or so back, I found a little stream that I can use. Okay, so I just want to go through what I brought out with me on this trip. Obviously, you saw I have an emergency medical kit, and I also have all my camera gear. But in regards to the gear, this is early 1900s. Let's think of, you know, someone who's boarded a boat to sail from South Australia to Melbourne. He's come aground, he's had a shipwreck, but he has his backpack with him with all his kind of belongings that he'd take with him. So that's what I kind of went for. So I do have a billy with me, just because I can use that for a lot of stuff while out here. I've got an oilskin coat, jacket, which actually didn't get that wet. Obviously, if it was a real true shipwreck, this would be soaked. And have a look at this, my woolen undergarment for nighttime. Didn't get wet at all. So I have a woolen blanket here, which is quite wet on the outside, so I'll have to dry that soon. I've got my water container. It's currently empty, no water in it. I've got my pipe and 2 pocket knives. Here we go. So this is the only sealed container I had that you could have had in the 1900s, and this has a little bit of tobacco in it, and my matches. Matches were around in the 1900s. And then to top it off, this is really cool. This is a legitimate 100-year-old, or from the early 1900s, hand fishing reel, which I'm going to try and use to catch fish. I mean, it's going to be hard. I'm probably going to have to stick to the estuaries and things like that. But and I need to find bait, but this is what I'm going to use to do some fishing. I've got a little tin here which has a few extra sinkers and hooks. And then lastly, I forgot to take this out of my bag. That was stupid of me. This is a brand new book I got, The Life and Adventures of William Buckley, who survived on the coastline in I think it was the 1800s. So I want to read that while I'm out here, but unfortunately that got wet, so I'm going to leave that out in the sun to dry. Well, I've got the frame for my shelter set up, and I'll just keep finding bits of driftwood to eventually make something I can crawl into. But it's getting late in the day. I really want to get some water. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's about water now that I've got my stuff drying, and I've got a little shelter to be able to set up. Plenty of firewood for later tonight. Quite lucky that I found a little stream of water when I was walking into this beach, because I was relying on this estuary, but I don't know how I didn't think it was going to be open to the sea. I didn't think it'd be brackish. So whoa, there's heaps of mussels. So I do know the tide will be going down even more in the evening. But that's awesome because mussels, one, I can eat them myself, and two, they will act as very good bait. So yeah, I'll definitely be coming back here on the low tide and collecting some of those mussels. Get him. I can cook that up. That's dinner tonight. Woohoo! Oh, that's so cool. So 2 decent sized crabs. I'll cook them up tonight. I might leave, there's so many in there. I don't need to go overboard because I'll add some mussels to these crabs, and that'll be enough dinner for tonight. But I might try and catch a little one which I can chuck on a hook and hopefully catch as bait. So I'll see if I can get a little one. Whoa! Okay, never turn your back to the ocean. Jeez. Can't believe how lucky I was. When I was trying to get those crabs, I had my back to the ocean and a big king wave just came and almost knocked me off, and it almost knocked the camera off. I got everything wet. I got my bag all wet again, everything that was dry. So it just goes to show you really got to watch yourself when you're out with this big swell. Anyway, I'm really lucky that there is this little bit of fresh water here, because if there wasn't fresh water here, I'm not quite sure what I would have done. At least it's fresh. So, plastic was not around in the early 1900s, but I did find these bottles here. I will make the most of this situation, and I will use these bottles because I don't have a lot of containers to fill up water. Yeah, it just makes it easier for me because I didn't expect to have such a far walk to get water, so I'm going to take advantage of this. Although in the 1900s you wouldn't have this, though you could find glass bottles potentially along the coastline. Now, if a shipwreck survivor in the 1900s came ashore, they probably would have just drank the water straight. I mean, they would have been dehydrated and thirsty, and I'm actually feeling that right now. I've gone the whole day without water. I really need some water in me. So I have some purification tablets in my emergency medical kit. I am going to put one in this 1 litre, let it sit here for a bit, drink all this, and then I'm going to go get some more. And then I'll show you how you can purify it naturally, obviously boiling the water. But yeah, because a survivor who would have come in the 1900s, they would have just drunken straight because they would be dehydrated. I'm just going to fill up with some water right now because I am feeling it in the sun quite a bit. Look at this fella. Look at him. Man, he's a big boy. The indigenous to these areas would eat them. And if you were a stranded sailor, you could eat that and get a lot of meat. Obviously, I won't be doing that since they're protected. There he is. Well, that's a good sign that the animals are drinking from here. I did bring this little towel out with me, and the purpose of this towel was actually to wipe my hands free of sand when I'm filming with the camera. But what I've done is I've used it as a way to filter all the sediment and also those little buggy things out of the water. So look, this water, I'll be able to boil that up and it should be fine. But yeah, I just wanted to get as much of that stuff out, otherwise it'll make me feel a bit sick. I think I've got enough water for the night and for tomorrow. I'm going to head back to camp now because I really want to collect some mussels for dinner. slowly chipping away at the shelter, just laying bits of wood on it to protect me from that wind. I'm pretty tired, so I've got dinner sorted for tonight. That's awesome. I've got water, even though it's pretty manky. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I've achieved on the first day. And then I'd love to catch a fish on this trip with this beauty. I mean, that would just top off the trip. So basically, I'm trying to just pick the big ones and leave the smaller ones. So, I mean, they're not huge. I've had bigger before, but every now and then there's a few big ones in here. I'll keep it at that for now. I don't want to get greedy because if I don't catch any fish, I'd like to have some big ones still left. Alright, I think I did well. I've got plenty of mussels there to eat tonight. It's nice to see after a few hours in the sun and in the wind, my woolen pants and my woolen blanket, which is the only thing I got tonight. Yeah, it's dry, that's good. I'll have some warmth tonight. It's actually spitting rain. My shelter's not yet quite done. I'm hoping it doesn't rain too much tonight. There we go. Time to eat this crab. All that meat. All that meat in that claw, look at that. Well, I feasted on that crab. That's all done. I was winning in life, but then I moved and I tore my good woolen pants. Okay, these are $100 pair of woolen pants, so well, that's a shame. I don't have a sewing kit on me as well, so I'm just gonna have to deal with that for the rest of the trip. This is the best I'll be able to do to stop it from tearing off anymore until I get home and I can sew it up. Probably enjoy that more than the crab. Well, everything was seemingly going so well until I tore my woolen pants, and my one luxury I brought out with me, my pipe. Oh, I've seemed to have lost my pipe. I've got tobacco, but I don't have a pipe. I reckon I might have left it where I got the water today, so no pipe tonight. I'll go and hopefully find it tomorrow. What a shame. It is what it is. On top of that, it's starting to rain, so I'm just gonna hunker down in the fire, and that'll be it for tonight. It's been a big day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning. Morning all. Man, rough night. It was drizzling quite a bit in the night, so I draped the woolen blanket over the shelter to create a little bit of a protection from the rain, but then it just got really cold. It got really windy as well, and the wind was getting right in on me, so I ended up putting the fire out because it just felt a bit dangerous with that wind blowing it everywhere. But what I did do is, before I put the fire out, I shifted all the hot coals from the fire, and I dug a hole and I put all the coals underneath me and then buried it with sand, and I lay on top of that, and that actually gave me a little bit of warmth as well. Alright, so I've got a heap of I've got limpets, I've got mussels, I've also got a couple of little crabbies for bait, and I also got 2 big crabs for brekkie. I'll probably just eat that for today and focus on catching a fish, and then if I can't get a fish today, then I'll just have to eat some mussels again for dinner. Oh guys, look, tiny little bream. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to throw him back because yeah, he's not big enough. Alright, I'll throw him back. Just got to get him hooked. They love the crab. Oh, I think I got him. I think I got one. Yes! I've got a bream. Nice! Nice size bream! Yes! Oh yeah! Good legal size bream! The crabs, it's all about the crabs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need. Yes, yes! That's a full legal size brim. Oh man. Oh man, I'm so stoked with that. That means there's good sized brim and they're eating the crabs. So I could just focus on that for the rest of the trip. And clearly, because I have a freckle here, which is 27 centimeters, and that is beyond 27 centimeters, that's clearly a legal brim. You don't know how happy I am to know that I can catch brim here with crabs. That just makes this camp that much more enjoyable. Perfect. Ooh, a nice lemon would be good with it, but oh man, you don't need anything. It's so good just on its own. Look at that white flesh. I'm going to put the fire out. I have no need to start a fire again until tonight when I cook up dinner. And you never know when that wind's going to play up. I'd like to go for a bit of an explore in this area as well today, since I've got the whole day ahead of me. So I'm going to make sure that fire is properly out. There it is. Shelter is complete. Not bad. And the great thing about this is being able to just flip the woolen blanket over in case it does rain like it did last night. Just sitting here enjoying some reading of William Buckley's book. One of the first real kind of European coastal survivors, you could say, in Australia back in the early 1800s, and ended up living with a local indigenous tribe for many years. And yeah, he survived by foraging off the land, and similar kind of landscape to what we have here, trapping brim and eating crabs and all that kind of stuff. And you could just imagine back then how, and you read in the accounts, how much our waterways were teeming with life. It's sad that, you know, we've lost a bit of that. Now I have to say, where we are now in this area, there is still a lot of life. There's still a lot of you know, stuff you can survive off, and it's just a fantastic story of survival, really. I'd highly recommend it. I thought I'd go chill out and spend some time down at the other inlet. Just hang out there, look pretty cool, go for explore, go top up some water and see if I can find my pipe. And then this afternoon by the inlet, I'll go for a fish there, because yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I can catch any different kind of fish. It's great to know I still got brim in that little estuary that I'm camped at, but yeah, it'd be nice to mix it up and see what else I can get on this 4-day survival challenge. Oh yeah, look what I found. This sailor has his pipe. That means tonight I'm gonna sit back and enjoy one of the only creature comforts I got, a bit of tobacco. Perfect, and not as much sediment in here. The only fresh water in this whole place. Alright, this is why I was a bit scared to walk on this track. Look at that, that is a big tiger. Far out, right on the track. Sketchy as, and I'm wearing shorts with no gaiters. I'm just going to have to be extra vigilant walking through. The inlet. It is very beautiful here. Incredibly beautiful. Alright, I've got 2 crabs left in my little container. Let's go for a bit of a walk and see if we can catch anything here. See how we go. Oh, I've lost me crab. This feels too windy. Oh, I might head back to camp. This is where that big tiger was last time. I'm moving very gingerly. This deep water section is another section that would have ocean fish. It's sketchy, like trying to stand close with the handrail and cast in when you got these waves coming. You're just one big wave and you're done. I really don't want that. So tomorrow, if the swell's down, maybe I'll come here. Here we go. Red belly black snake. Jeez, I've seen lots of snakes on this trip. Oh, there he goes. He saw me. I'll leave him be. It makes me think, like, how did the indigenous live out here? Were they constantly on edge and had anxiety towards snakes? Or was it just they just didn't think about it? It was just such a part of life. I mean, if I get bitten by a snake out here, it's a bad day and it ruins my trip. I got a snake bandage, I got a PLB, but I mean, if they got bitten, it's pretty much, I mean, a red belly wouldn't kill you, but it would kill a child. But yeah, you'd have no modern medicine, and what would you do? That was it. You just hope you'd pull through it. Back at my gorgeous camp, just as I left it. I do have one more crab here from this morning. I thought I'd give it a go. There's a section I've been watching and I've been seeing some big brim swimming through there, so I'll give this one a go. Well guys, I fished and I fished and I fished, but I got nothing. So it's time to eat a heap of mussels for dinner tonight. The sun's starting to go down, so I'm going to go collect a bunch now.
Getting really tired of the sand. Sand in your hair, sand in your bed, sand in your food, sand in your water. Slept in this morning. It's like 7:45. I never sleep in, but I don't know, just low in energy. Low in energy and a bit of a headache as well. I do know it's low tide right now, so it's probably the best time right now to go out and collect bait. Oh, I'll go fishing for bream, but I tell you, I just want to lie in bed. I just don't want to move. I really hope I catch a fish today. Time to get me some crabs. I can catch a bream.
I haven't worn my oilskin jacket the whole time I'm out here. I've only used it as a mattress. It's a little chilly this morning, so I might chuck it on. What would you think if you wandered across me, if you were out here hiking by yourself and you saw me like this? It'd be time warp, wouldn't it? Just noticed these little footprints that have come in last night. I wonder what that is, right there. Tell me what you think that is, guys. I don't know, like a fox, or it's not a cat. Swell is significantly more down today, which that's good. That gives me hope that I could do some rock fishing and maybe catch some ocean fish. There's all these grasshoppers on the beach, and I'm thinking this could be good for bream in the freshwater. These little crabs work really good. Unfortunately, to catch crabs it requires a lot of energy, and I'm feeling low on energy. Oh, I've seen heaps here. Okay, lots of bait on me. Heaps of crabs. I've got lots of small crabs this time as well. So I can try a small hook, limpets, things like that, and a bunch of grasshoppers. So I won't use all of them up here in the bream if they just keep taking it all, because with the low swell I think I could catch some fish off the rocks. Oh, that was about an hour of foraging, and I am so low on energy. It'd be nice to get a fish this morning, because that would just give me a boost for the rest of the day. If I got a fish this morning, I know I'm set for the rest of the day, even if I just ate crabs for dinner. But anyway, let's see if I can catch a bream. I'll try my little fishing spot right at the mouth here. I saw lots of big fish in here yesterday, but I can't tell you how low on energy I am. I'm just battling. All right, let's try grasshoppers first. There it is. Okay. Oh, I should say prayer. God, I know you don't owe me anything, but I would genuinely love some breakfast right now. Man, they just so easily take the grasshopper. All right, I think I'm on. Oh, I think I'm on. Oh, looks like it might be a good sized one. Look at that. A good sized bream. Ask and you shall receive. I've got to get him in first. Oh, wonderful. Legal size bream. That's brekkie. So while they're biting, I might go for another one. And the thing what I did is I changed up. I put a much smaller hook on, so And I think with the grasshoppers it's a smaller bait. Look at this. Well, I'll throw him back. Okay, let him live another day. Oh man, I'm so happy. Alright, so this is my plan for this fish. You know, survival's about utilising what you have around you. I know you saw me cook it up on the coals, but I want to capture everything of this fish, all the juices, I want to get all the nutrients of this fish into my body. So I realise I do have some alpha oil in my emergency medical kit. I might cook it up in the alpha oil, and then I'll eat the meat, and then all the leftovers like the head and the tail and everything like that, I'm going to again boil it up in some water and make like a broth, and then I'll drink that broth and just like boil it to it's so soft and eat every little last bit of it, and that should get me some good nutrients through the day. Alright, so this is what I've done. The foil was barely enough to fit the fish in, so I filleted it. So I've got some nice fillets in here, and then all this I'm just going to boil up. Put that aside to let it cool. We burnt it a little bit much, but I'll just show you how good these fillets look. Look at that. I don't have a spoon to eat my soup, so I made one out of alpha oil. That broth is nice, very fishy. Find a washed up plastic bottle and just pour the broth into there. This is my second one now, and I'm telling you, I'm just feeling the energy come right back into me. Like I was really feeling pretty drained this morning, and just this broth, it's amazing what it's doing to me right now. That's the good thing about boiling all these kind of leftover parts. The flesh, it just falls off the bone. Last but not least, to top off this awesome meal, a fish head. And if you've never had fish eyes, they're a delicacy. There's so much goodness in a fish head. There you go. Now, reading my book, Life and Adventures of William Buckley, it really just shows how these people who survived on the coast, who found themselves stranded, whether they were runaway convicts or whether they were shipwrecked sailors, what they actually went through. Like, he had literally nothing. I at least have a bunch of gear with me. I know this seems like minimal gear really, but compared to what some people had, like literally out in the bush with just your clothes that you got on you. And this trip is just getting a little bit of a taste of that, a little bit of taste of the hunger and being cold at night, being uncomfortable. It's just a tiny taste, because if you think about it, this 4-day survival trip I'm doing, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, you go hungry for 4 days, but in reality you can go like 3 months without food. I asked myself, why do I do these things? Why am I attracted to them? I'm not a professional survivalist or anything like that. I'm just an amateur who's got a passion for it and wants to give it a go myself. But
I think it's because if you look at human history, it's only the last 70 odd years or so where in the Western world, in Western countries, that humans have more or less, I know there's always outliers, but more or less you've been able to rely on 3 meals a day, let alone 1 meal a day, and to sleep in shelter and a comfy bed. And I mean, most of human history across the world, that has not been a guarantee, and people have gone without and gone, you know, lacking and had to sleep outside by a fire and go a full day without food and wondering if they'll get food the next day. And that is our human history. And I think modern civilized man, you could say, has forgotten that. It's forgotten how uncomfortable we actually can be and what our body can actually go through. And I think it's humbling to put yourself through these little experiences to remind yourself where we've come from and what humans have gone through. Even though this is nothing, what I'm doing is just the tiniest taste of the trials and sufferings that some of these old fellas and the old timers went through out here in the bush. But yeah, that's why I do it, and I guess it humbles you and it just reminds you of where we've come from. I might just set my fishing line up for ocean fishing. Now, one thing I'll point out, and I know someone will point it out if I don't mention it, was obviously in the early 1900s they did not have synthetic kind of nylon type of fishing line. It was, I read up on it, it was horsehair, linen, woven cotton, things like that they would have used. Obviously, no, it wouldn't be as strong as nylon. Now, I actually was really keen to use old school line, but I just couldn't find anywhere fast enough that I was able to find it or buy it. It's really, you can't really buy it, and then to make it obviously is quite difficult. But imagine making a horsehair fishing line. That would be really cool. So this was the spot I thought of fishing, in that deep water there. This ledge looks a bit sketchy, but I wonder if I could fish off there. I just got to be very careful. I don't feel safe here. I'm losing the crabs anyway. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. Oh, jackpot, look at this. Oh, those are good sized mussel I broke open. These are the ones you want. I'll just make a few of these. Just a few of these will make a difference tonight. Big dinosaur just chilling on the beach. Another one. Wow, he's so cool. I call this Dinosaur Beach. There's a red belly in there. I saw him go in. The problem with fishing here, it's so rocky, you get snagged all the time. Whoops. Ah. Well,
my troubles was a very wet pair of socks. You can see how it'd be a good place to fish when it's when the ocean is a lot calmer, but that ain't working. Back at camp, leave them to dry. My body is still feeling a bit low, I think because I don't have any sugars or carbs, and so my body is feeling that quite a bit, but it's just good to do this challenge. And look at this, it's an octopus. Woo! That is awesome. Now you might be saying, Luke, eat the octopus. I'm not even sure how you'd cook it. It's a beautiful creature, so I might let that one be. I could always just eat, I can get by one more night, I can get crabs, I can get another crab and oh, look at him go. Nah, he's too beautiful to kill. So look at this fella here. Get in there, mate. And I reckon just 2 of those. I'm so glad I caught that brim today, this morning, because that's given me the energy to get through. Anyway, I have 2 crabs here, decent sized crabs that I've caught. I didn't want to take the octopus, let him live, and then otherwise I'm going to hunker down and get this fire going. Get rid of that yucky part of the crab. Crab soup and mussel soup. Pretty manky looking water. Yeah. And a few greens just to top it off. Bon appetit! I wonder if that's going to taste as nice as the fish broth. That's bloody good. Okay, let's try mussel. They are good. Well, cheers to my last night out here and to a pretty awesome experience. Look at that. Any other time, you'd look at that and you'd be disgusted by it. You'd say, I am not drinking that. But when you get hungry, as an old saying once goes, hunger is the best sauce. Fishy. Day 4, I feel good to have made it to day 4. I mean, I got good energy this morning, much more energy than I felt yesterday, because it's a beautiful day and it's my last day. I'm going to do a Wim Hof. I'm going to go for a swim in my estuary, even though it's bloody cold. Let's do this. So I'm not going to catch a fish this morning. I'll leave the brim I've had my fair share. I've got some nuts and muesli bar at the car, so I'm just going to head back, and got about an hour and a half or so of walking ahead of me and a journey to get back, and I'm really excited. I'm so happy I've done this trip, but I'm really excited to start heading home. And remember, try and leave no trace. Big danger noodle there. And the tripod makes a good stick to ward off any danger noodles. Out onto the estuary. Let's see if the kayak's there. Yay! Kayak's still there, Tim. I don't have to buy you a new one. Day to be out on the water. Oh, made it. Mission accomplished. As always, lots of goodies. Nuts, an orange, and dog and gun coffee. Food and a hot coffee, dog and gun. Well guys, this has been a great challenge. I'm really proud of what I've achieved. I really love these survival trips. They're hard on you, but yeah, it's just a great way of putting yourself in a situation and having to rely on your own knowledge and skills and yeah, physical abilities. And I'm stoked with this trip. I hope you guys have liked the video. If you do like it, please leave a comment, like it, subscribe. I'm bloody exhausted. I'm going to eat my food and then I'm going to hit the road. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.